Yep.
Hello, my astrology family. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and today I want to present you a new, amazing, up and coming astrologer. His name is Ian, and apparently, he found astrology through me 8 years ago. Hello, Ian.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Hey, Lotta. Yeah, it's so amazing to finally be here. Be back in the place where my astrology journey once started. Like, I think it was 8 or 9 years ago when I think I saw one of the monthly videos with you, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And I was hooked.
I had even no idea what astrology was back then.
I had like I knew I was Leo, Leo sun. I was like, okay, so this ascendant and moon and what are these? Like my mind was like blown, and I started really diving in deep pretty quickly actually.
Wow, so full circle. It started from here, the Ouroboros, and you're coming into the Astrolada family. You also took courses with Victor, and you've been
Yes.
doing courses for the last 8, 9 years, and we were so impressed with your reading when we do the examination, the tests, and again, I only want to work with people that blow me away. So I'm so excited to have you in our family today. And I would like to present to you what we're going to talk with Ian. Ian, by the way, you're from Estonia?
I'm from Estonia. Yes.
Wow. A new country we're adding to the Astrolada family. Amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, Ian?
So we're going to talk about a pretty, let's say, practical and material theme, and we're going to add astrology into it. So we're calling this how to make the best deals and form the best partnerships. Um, but let's say the topic is a little bit deeper as well. It's not only about negotiations. We're going to talk about timing. We're going to talk about leverage, actually, and we're going to talk about self-worth and how to kind of navigate this material world with and through astrology as well. And I just want to add a little bit to it because my approach to astrology is a bit, I like to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
I like to have, practical testing in the real world, and there's so much information, there's so much, styles, there's so much charts, different things you can do and use. But what I do is I take what I can, learn from others, and I take it into the real world and test it out. And if it works, I keep it and make it better. If it doesn't work, I don't really see any point in like keeping it. So,
So it's all been tested. What you teach, what you use, it's all been tested astrologically.
literally everything I'm going to share with you today or tonight, wherever you are, has been tested by me. This is how I usually start. I start with me, personally. I don't usually want to give anything out if I haven't done it myself. And then if I've done it myself and I see it works, then I start, people close to me, then clients, So kind of a very practical scientific approach to this esoteric science. let's put it
I
that
like
way.
approach as well. I like testing things, and this is the only thing that I can keep in my head that blows me away. I'm like, whoa, this literally is correct in this person's life. So that's the best way. And by the way, Ian is going to offer a course, a class, a webinar on May 23rd, I think it is, exactly on that topic, how to do the best deals and and it's very much connected about how to heal your self-worth. If you have self-worth blockages, to find where it is and to unlock it. And it's very practical webinar, how to make the best deals, the best negotiations for salaries, for anything. That's where my biggest weakness is, like negotiations. Because my self-worth, you're so correct, my self-worth is really low, and it's always been, I think people are kind of very hard to shift the self-worth. And I'm finding it very fascinating to learn what you have to present for us today. But if anyone would like to learn this more in depth, You can join the webinar, or you can also have a personal reading with Ian. We always make great promos when we introduce a new astrologer. For him, it's the 1 hour reading. That will be on a promotion. You can check below if you're interested to contact him. Okay, so looking forward to the presentation, Ian.
Okay, so let's see if we can, if I can share the screen. Maybe I need some permissions from you.
Hi.
Let me try. Let me try.
So would you say that making good deals and negotiating, it has everything to do with the self-worth? I guess so, yeah.
In my view, yes. And I bring in this during the course as well, but a lot to do with confidence as well. So self-worth and confidence are, in my view, correlated. You know, in astrology, they're usually represented by different things, but they're still combined. You know, Venus and Sun, and you know other things there. But you kind of need to have both, or at least a little bit of something, because you know if you have self-worth, you know what you're worth, but you don't have the confidence to kind of ask for it, because this is a huge part of you. You're kind of sitting there. Let's say we're talking about a salary negotiation, and you're sitting there with this, let's say, big company, and they're asking, okay, so how much do you want? How much do you really want? And then in that moment, you are going to have to open your mouth and say the exact amount that you want. Not a lot of people can, you know, do that, because because a lot of you know these ideas and thoughts come into their minds, like, oh, I don't know if I get it, and I don't know if I'm worth it. You know what is going to happen, because it's so survival as well. So it's our survival themes, this money
And also,
these
if you
things.
say a price, if you have a low self-worth, but you say a higher price, it will come up arrogant. It will come up because people will feel that you don't, because how you appreciate and how valuable you think you are, it's like you don't have to say your price. People can feel it off of you, type of energy. Can you make the screen bigger?
Yes,
Or
yes, I can make it for sure bigger. Let me see if I can make it even better. Like do this. Which one do you see now? Do you see this? Let me see if I did. Is this better? No.
perfect. That's
Okay. So how do I approach this? Is first of all, I really approach this very practically. So it really kind of pays, let's say, to know your position in life. So whether you have, how much savings do you have? Do you have a partner who can, you know, support you? These very practical material things, even before going into any kind of negotiation or deal making. And I kind of make the person, when we sit with or when they sit with me, make the person, you know, go into these very practical material details in their life. And I really want today, you know, to get people to think about these, you know, sums and percentages as well, because it's important. If you take less money over the year, let's say in the negotiation, you know, you're going to actually lose money in a way. And that money can be used to, you know, help you invest. You know, you can save it, you can, you know, invest in your own self, you can do courses with that money. So it's not like a small detail in my part. And I know, you know, especially in you know these types of spiritual communities, you know, the asking of the money, and it triggers a lot of things. We shouldn't be talking about this, and we shouldn't be doing this, you know. Don't agree. You know, we live in a very material realm as well, in a capitalistic society where we have a very specific way of exchanging goods, and this is money. And we need to deal with this.
I
So
think also most of the people in the spiritual community have this issue with money and worth and self-worth.
unfortunately, yes, but this was one of the big reasons why I wanted to bring this, because I know it will kind of trigger some as well. but it will, once you get past the trigger and you get really practical and material, you start doing this, you see that it's not so bad, it's not so crazy, it's not so scary actually, because a lot of it's fear that's stopping us from dealing with these matters. So yeah, please have a look at these figures. If you, even if you have to take $200 less a month in the negotiation, you're going to basically in a way lose quote unquote almost $2,500 a year. And if you think about the fact that you're going to be working in a company maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, those sums start adding up. So please, when you go into those situations, have these things in mind as well. So now again, the second part is the self-worth part, and the confidence part. You need to be aware of what you're actually worth, because I know at times this can go to extremes as well. I can ask for too much because I think I'm just worth it. These kinds of ideas come, but that's what I want to say, like this true knowing of one's self-worth, it takes a little time. It takes a little like inner work. It takes also seeing what you can practically do, what skills do you have? How are you with people? What are your, communication skills? How are you a team player? All these things actually add to your worth. So it's not only your practical skills, it's also your emotional skills. All of these need to be taken into consideration. And a lot of reasons why people ask for smaller amounts of either percentages in business negotiations, or even in salary negotiations, because we have ideas in our minds, we have thoughts and beliefs in our minds to kind of from our past to make us believe that either it's not okay to ask for this, or if it's wrong to ask for this, or we're not worthy for this sum. So this is what we need to basically kind of shift through and get really nitty gritty and basic as well. Why are you believing this? Who did what to you? Where are these issues coming from? And this is where the astrology can actually come in, because you can ask a person, how much are you making? These are easy to ask a person when they're sitting with you, but these kind of internal beliefs and ideas about what we have about parents and fathers and mothers and money, these are usually really deep down, and astrology can help, because one of the big things I want to give people is, well, the mind can trick you. So the mind can say like, I'm fine, my relationship with my father is fine, my relationship with my mother is fine. But actually deep down, there are still judgments about the father, then the creation can't happen. So a lot of stuff happening there. And this is, I think, where the astrology starts coming in and starts being really helpful.
Instead of sitting for months and years with a psychologist to figure it out, with astrology, you just open the chart and say, yeah, your biggest issue was that he put you down, or he was never satisfied, or it's as clear, you can see it immediately.
Interesting that you bring up that example, because I have I think the next one. Oh, I have a disclaimer before we go to the examples. I just wanted to say, because we're going to talk about timing as well, and we're going to talk about let's say esoteric techniques that can help us get what we want. So in my view, we shouldn't be using these things to kind of manipulate people. Mm-hmm. We should be using these things to kind of help us and give us a leg up, give us some indications, and kind of help in those difficult, emotionally charged situations. But we shouldn't be kind of, cheating cheating faith, or if, let's say, for example, if you don't really have the skills for the jobs or job, we shouldn't be, trying to time the meeting so we can, be in a better light and, trick people to hire us.
That's
Basically,
black magic there.
that's
Black magic.
that's black magic. I would agree. Yeah, it's not, don't do it. Let's put it that way. Let me see if I wanted to mention something here. I think it's kind of like important to keep in mind, not to use it in a bad way. So this is now a person's chart, and I wanted to bring this example because I think this is, let's say, one of my, biggest success stories with another person, with a client, and at first glance, this person came to me. Basically, they were really not, good with their job, or they weren't satisfied with their job. They were making less than they should, let's put it that way, or very little. And they were overqualified actually for the job as well. So let's start with, some of the kind of pretty basic stuff, I would say. But this is what I would like to, give to people, because it doesn't always have to be like crazy, like this aspect here, boo, boo, boo. It can be really simple stuff sometimes, and it can give you the answers. So first, you might even say in this case, this person has the ruler of the first, Jupiter in the first house in Pisces, kind of strong, might even say they attract good things, and mostly are, should be in a way confident, from a bit of a shallow perspective, let's say. And the second part also here is, the second house also, which is the ruler of the worth in a person's chart, self-worth, or one of the indications of self-worth in this case is Mars. So we can see Mars is actually in the 11th house, exalted.
Yeah, so you'll be like,
so we're kind of like, what's wrong here, but let's move a little further, and I'll point your attention to the 9th house. So we have the good old Venus, which in my opinion, and this is in my opinion and my experience of Venus with working with people and working with charts, is the Venus, I would check Venus first instead of the second house. Venus kind of is more important in my opinion.
mm-hmm.
And now we see Venus in the 9th house in the sign of Scorpio. So I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's kind of like almost the most difficult position for Venus. Almost anything
in Scorpio is difficult. But Venus particularly like paint there, the self-worth, and often there might have been even some kind of abuse to really beat down their self-worth.
Exactly. Totally agree. And just even to drive it a little bit further, anything in Scorpio, in this case Venus in Scorpio, it's so deep, it's so hidden, the person usually doesn't understand that they even have the problem. This is the maybe like one of the bigger things with Scorpio energy in general. The person usually suppresses it to such an extent that they don't know that they have this problem.
They compartmentalize it in some cave in there.
Somewhere deep in the subconscious,
Yeah.
And now what else is here is the 9th house. So for a lot of you, we're accustomed to seeing the 10th and the 4th as parents, mother the 4th, usually father 10th house. But this is actually one of the things I think I got from you is in Vedic astrology, 9th house is the father.
Absolutely.
And I start
both the 10th and the 9th in Vedic astrology, but the 10th is more like the personality of the father, his life. And the ninth is your relationship with the father, with father figures and teacher figures. And I've seen people with difficult positions in the ninth house have way more problems with parental, with father figure in particular, than in the 10th.
This
So
is exactly what I wanted to say next, because again, like I'm going to remind, I like to test these things out. And I started literally, testing it out with people who came to me, and I was asking, like, okay, I was looking at the ninth house, do you have these problems? And this is kind of strange. It was kind of strange because 100% ninth house was the father in every case. There was no question in like, oh, is it the mother, is it? No, every time it was the father. So in my mind, in my experiments and testing, I'm giving the leg up for the father for the ninth house for now.
thank you for confirming it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good stuff. So again, and now we're getting somewhere. And now when I saw this configuration in their chart, I was okay. Mars, okay. Jupiter, okay. Even the Sun, okay. Sun is in Virgos, seventh house, still, active house. Maybe not the strongest of suns, but not the worst of suns. And now Venus. And I started like, okay, so what's going on with the father? What are the kind of issues there? And we uncovered a lot, but let's say the gist of it let's say the general gist of this was there was this separation from the father. Um, in some point, and there's a lot of kind of push and pull, controlling there. And also the when we dig even deeper, it was very clear and obvious that the father actually kind of hadn't grown up themselves, and because of that reason hadn't given the confidence. And actually this is one of the roles of the father in my mind, giving the person the confidence to create and ask things in the real world, in the material world. This is a huge again huge role of the father in a person's life.
Yeah, that's why he's the teacher.
And
He's
he's the
the
teacher
father who
for
teaches
sure.
us.
And now when these things started unraveling, these things started unraveling, we started to get somewhere, and we kind of devised a plan, let's say, because it wasn't just because, again, I want to confirm that it's not only the father, it's not only the self-worth. You need, in my mind, in my experience, you also need a very practical and material plan. I think that's the next. Yeah. So first of all, we got really clear on what's their situation. Like, can you quit this job that you don't like? Do you have a partner? Do you have savings? Do you have education? Do you have the skills for a new job? All these things we got clear on before making any moves. Let's say, again, taking action. And once that was clear and kind of established, this person actually decided to quit their job because their partner decided to okay, I'm going to help you in this transitional time. And actually they also had this kind of, let's say, government benefits to support them during this transition as well. So actually they had leverage. They just had to get clear that they had this leverage.
Yeah.
So they started actually they started a business, and that business then led to new jobs, new negotiations, and actually now they're building a brand, they're building a business, and they're actually doing let's say freelance work. But now this is the juicy part, or this is the material part. With this negotiation they had for this freelancing job, they're making now 90% more than they made in that, first, job. I just want to maybe pull the brakes a little bit, because the 90% seems huge. It seems huge, and it was huge. The raise was huge, but like, the reasons why it's so huge and the percentage it's so huge is the reason that it was so low. Like, they thought so little of themselves and their skills, and they needed to see those skills as well. And
How does the astrological part help them overcome this low self-esteem? Is it enough just to know it and to understand it, to bring it to the surface, and then something starts happening within you?
This is the first part. So especially things in Scorpio. Usually I do like using therapists as well, but not regular therapists. I like using, I've been in this kind of realm or business for quite a while, so I know people who go deeper than the modern therapist. So I know people I can go to, and I can I don't want to say push, but guide people towards, who can get to the bottom of these matters as well. But with Scorpio energy, there's a huge, again, I'm emphasizing importance of feeling their emotions and feelings. So once people start doing that, all of those fears start kind of unraveling, and with them going through these emotions, they were going to see that these things aren't so scary. These things they thought of themselves, why they think so little of themselves, have no validity. Because once you're in that pain and you feel those emotions, you start to see those situations in the past more clearly. You don't put your kind of pain and ideas on them. You just see it very practically. And why do you think those things? Now, obviously, I do this with my own, people who come to me as well. And I must say, most of these situations can be solved in a way that you point a person towards, let's say if it's the father or the mother, usually the father or the mother, sometimes the grandparents, sometimes brother and sister, people very close to us usually are the indication. And the next part is to start looking at, this is one of the questions I really ask people is, so what do you really think about them? And what do you really think about the situation? Because people don't really dare to ask that question, because it's really comfortable and good to just not look at that. Like, I might really have some hatred towards these people close to me, and not to say that hatred is bad, but it's just the truth of the situation. You don't have to judge the situation. You don't have to judge the hatred. You just need to know I'm feeling mad, or I have this anger towards them because of that situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know what you mean, because my Venus is very bad. That's why my low self-worth, it's conjunct the sun, which means it's combust, invisible. The sun often also represents father, but that father burns your self-confidence, your self-worth, Venus. It's conjunct Mars, it's aggressive, and it's opposite Pluto, exact. Okay. So my dad was is very aggressive. He'll get physical, beat us up, and shout a lot, and it's very, so that's totally what. And I have so much anger within, and I would suppress it for years, and it started coming out in the last few years, and it's coming out, and I'm like, I need to accept it, because I always thought I'm the pleaser. I please people, so people don't get angry with me. And this anger has been coming out. It's very interesting internal process that's happening. It takes time, but yeah, the self-worth there, exactly like you said, has been very harmed.
I'm really glad to hear this, and that you're kind of allowing it and you're not stopping it. And I think this is one of the biggest keys, is to allow it like whatever it is that you feel towards this person. You don't have to go confront them, you know, immediately, but you can just feel it, and just you could be in the realness of that situation or moment of what you really think of them. This doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean you are bad. It doesn't mean the situation or life or universe is bad. This just means that this is the actual truth of the situation. And once you're in that truth of the situation, this, you can feel it and then release it. But this takes time, you know.
It's been going on for a few years.
Yeah.
Of Pluto transits that I'm trying to handle this anger I have. This anger that I've been suppressing.
Have you personally found any outlet for your kind of anger? Maybe like some kickboxing, or, you know.
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna ask you, just like you said with Venus in Scorpio, they need to feel their feeling. Wow, with Venus in Aries, it must be probably something physical and
physical.
Kickboxing. I haven't tried it. I should try it.
I had one person that, can't remember the exact configuration, but we came to the conclusion of kickboxing actually.
Wow.
And but I probably get to meet them soon, so hopefully I can get, you know, feedback how that is going with them or for them. Is it releasing, you know, that stuff? So I can come back and say, is that working? Because I yet don't have like very immediate proof that it's, you know, go do kickboxing and all your problems will be solved.
That makes a lot of sense, because with Aries it's in the body, almost like it's physical. You need to expel the anger with physical actions. But that would be interesting if in the course, in the webinar, you give different signs of Venus, how to deal with self-worth issues. Maybe some it will be reading, some it will be talking, others like Aries would be go kick ass. So that's fascinating.
For sure. I think I have even I have already some examples in that course already, but I'll do my best to give, you know, all the signs, some piece of.
It's so important for self-worth, like you said. Definitely.
So, okay, I think we did this. So, yes, now, like, this person actually had, you know, many negotiations in their path or route, let's say, to more abundance and better deals. And I think the next one is where, yes, this one is the last one, one of the last ones they got a bigger deal with. And now this gets a bit, you know, esoterical, let's say, but it's still kind of, you know, practical things in esoteric ways. Now we have, you know, meetings charts aren't, I don't think, you know, very, you know, innovative stuff in astrology, but I learned this concept of meeting charts from Master Victor, you know, on Astrolada as well. And I started combining horary techniques as well into this, you know, kind of modern astrology. And I kind of combined these two things, and I started testing it out like I do. And I started getting really, really good results. Again, like I don't have like a million gazillion examples, but so far, again, 100%, right? For now, I have like success rate. So let's keep it up, guys. Let's keep it up. But let's look at this example of a meeting chart. So this was actually the moment this person we just looked at the chart, they met with the company, or let's say the last company they worked for. And in a meeting chart, I hope you can see my mouse. I don't know if
I see.
Yeah, you can see. So in a meeting chart, you know, the person, you, is always the first house. And the opponents are the seventh house. So we now need to evaluate the condition of the ruler. So the ruler here in the 10th house, so, you know, that's already pretty good if the sun is in the 10th, you know, shining and you know, being their best, being in their best light. Yeah, it's in Taurus, you know, maybe not the best sign for sun, not the worst by any means. So already we can see that the person is doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have a couple of tricks up my sleeve that I will share with you during the course. I don't want I don't want to show you everything, but there are some bits and pieces here that you can add with, you know, essential dignities, to see even more deeply into the condition of the sun first and foremost, and to see if there's interest from the employee, or sorry, the company or the other side as well.
Mm.
So let's keep something for mysteries, or mystery. And now we're looking at the seventh house ruler. And now I want to say I mostly start with traditional rulers in this case. So if you're more into, you know, modern astrology and Placidus, in meeting charts, I urge you to use whole sign house system and start with traditional rulers, and then move your way up to the modern ones as well, because the modern ones work as well. You can get extra information from with that, but start with the traditional ones. So in this case, we have Saturn in the seventh house. These are the company or the opponents, and they're retrograde. So this is can give us some indication of let's say the company, maybe they're not, you know, giving the best
They're
view of
holding back.
themselves.
They're holding
Yeah,
back
they're
retro.
holding back, or they're, you know, they're doing something that's maybe not entirely clear. You know, there's retrograde. You know, something is off at times. But still, you know, Saturn is in Aquarius, so, you know, good. We like this. We like Saturn in Aquarius. So this means, again, Saturn is in a good position in the seventh house, in a strong position, in an angular house, in an active house. Okay, we you know, if we want to go really deep, you know, Saturn, you know, does well in hidden houses, but still not the worst of Saturns. Let's put it that way. But now we come to the, let's say, the most important thing in meeting charts. Just let me just kind of, the most important thing in meeting charts is the aspect. And now, is the aspect there first and foremost? And the second part, is it applying or separating? This is the, like, the juice. This is the meat of this, guys.
Everything else
And
you can ignore, basically.
basically, just like in the name of simplicity,
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff you can see. Yes, I know, probably a lot of Virgos are going like, oh, this is, you know, this degree, you know. But like,
Look up the asteroid Sedna there on the cusp of the ninth.
exactly. I don't want to hate on Virgos. I love Virgos. You're doing great jobs. I don't want to hate on you, but I like to make fun of signs and their kind of weirdness. It's like, but so now, you know, the applying or the separating, and first and foremost, start with the fact, if there's an aspect, sorry, just need a drink. If there's an aspect between the two rulers. Mm-hmm. So in this case, we have I specifically picked this example because we have a strange one. We have a bit of a strange one already, because Saturn is retrograde and Sun is on 28 degrees. So you can see, you know, it's a, you know, you can argue that it's a very wide square, you know, a separating square, you know. But now it gets interesting. But the Sun is really close to making an applying trine to Saturn. I know now this is one of the things. I know a lot of people don't like these kind of out of sign applying, and, you know, it gets a bit mixed. In my experience, when it's this close, it works.
Absolutely.
It works. And just and to bring it even kind of to take it a little bit deeper, Saturn is retrograde. So Saturn is actually going back and again making an aspect to the Sun. So guys, what this means, there's a very, 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 very high probability that these two parties are going to meet, and they're going to reach at least some sort of agreement or deal.
Yeah.
So this is the meat. This is the gist. You can say Saturn is here. You can da 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 da. You can look at all the other stuff as well, but if there's no aspect,
No agreement.
oh, no agreement, no agreement.
That is
Sorry.
what you chose for her to meet them, or is that it just happened?
Unfortunately, this wasn't possible. So
You just
this I had to
analyze the
see,
time, yeah, in advance.
because they came back and they were like, "Oh, I don't know how it went," and I just, okay, what's the time? Tell me the time, and I pulled it up, and I was like, high probability you're going to get it, and it did, and it did. And I was really happy because it was very kind of, again, a practical thing, person being concerned, do I get it, do I don't get it, blah blah, oh, I don't know. And if you, as an astrologer, if you can get, if you can give, the person some comfort, you're going to get it. Most probably there's a high probability chance that you're going to get it. Or if there's no aspect, then there's a hard place of like, move on. better to move on, send those CVs or start a business, or just do something. So yeah, this worked out pretty amazingly
I
well.
love how simple it is. I love simple astrology, like you said.
Me too. When it gets really difficult, and I use fixed stars as well at times, but
No,
I don't want to.
it's not seen with the simple techniques. Why go rape the chart to get something you want out of it? It's like you have to see it with the simple ways, and then you can confirm it with other ways.
Yes, and I do use horary astrology as well. So for those of you, I do confirm things, and I ask questions with horary astrology to see, even sometimes even more detailed things, but to kind of confirm and to see the situation more thoroughly.
I love horror. Every time I have some problem and I can't figure it out, I'm just worried and I just want a peace of mind, or just to stop worrying, and I check it out, and it's scary, because horror is the stuff of kind of magic almost, because you can get very specific answers to questions. It's where the magic really happens in astrology. It's not psychological, it's to the point. And I've used it for some very sensitive topics, and it was very correct.
It's scary accurate, actually. Again, and I urge people who know horary a little, learn more and test it out in very practical matters as well. Like, do everyday stuff. Ask, I don't know what's the good, where are my keys, or whatever,
Exactly. I used it for my earring, and I saw I'll never recover it. So
I think I even used it for should I buy this book or something, these types of weird things.
Should I take this course? I used it on, am I pregnant? Now they're test, but you can use it on anything you can think of.
Yeah. For me, I don't. Maybe we can take a look at little of what will be in the webinar. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like just a couple of words. What will you get when you join the webinar? Is hopefully you will get through it. 4 to 5 hours, most probably. You will get a lot of information about leverage, how to understand what situations you're in. You're going to get a lot of information about what to check in a chart for self-worth, what to also what to check with regarding meetings and negotiations in a chart as well, because some people have it easier in those situations. For example, if you have a very strong 7th house, you have a bit of an advantage, you know, in those situations. We're going to look at those moments as well, or those positions, let's say, in an astrological point of view, or from an astrological point of view. And then, of course, I'm going to show you the timing techniques, and I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to show you to see if the person or the other party is interested in you, who is more interested in you. Can you ask for more? Is there a possibility to ask for more money? You know, there's these are bits and pieces here. And the last and the big part of this webinar is also like this self-work part from let's say it's more like a spiritual part as well. Like, so I'll give some exercises you can do, and I've started to test out, and I'm getting good results with something everyone can do in their own home. If they have a computer or a phone, they can use to kind of reprogram their mind and reprogram their beliefs. So I'm going to share that with you in the webinar as well, how to do it, and you know what to do it for. And also I'll give you a book. You know, I wrote most of that information into a book, so it's easier for you to follow. You can go back to it, you can see it, you can check it, and it's easier for you to follow the webinar. And you know, prerequisites, you know, it's better for sure if you know houses, signs, you know, if you have some sort of basis in astrology, because I'm going to be pulling in, you know, dignity tables and, you know, stuff like that. So it's a little bit better if you already have some knowledge in astrology.
Oh, you definitely need to have knowledge to understand you, to see aspects and
Aspects, and you know,
signs.
you need to have those things kind of down, you know. And what else, you know, and you know, this I wrote down open mind, because I think in astrology this is the biggest part that we need, because, you know, there's a lot of books, there's a lot of information, everybody's saying one thing, and this is the right one, this is the correct system, only this, only that. If you're going to come in to this webinar, there's no only this. There's openness, there's learning, there's testing, there's, you know, new things, new horizons. Let's put it that way. So take an open mind, you know, with you.
Yeah,
as
thank you
well.
so much, Ian. And if anyone
Yeah.
would like to have a reading with Ian as a promotion, the 1 hour reading, and you can focus exactly on the topics we've been talking about. If you prefer, Ian can help you how to get the best out of a deal, or how to negotiate and leverage. What is blocking you? Where's the difficulty? What can help you?
Exactly.
Remedies as well, and so on. So, or if you have other questions, horary questions of any nature, you can check out Ian's services. Thank you so much, Ian, for joining me, for those amazing examples. Interesting. Made me think about my issues with self-worth, and I'm going to try and explore it now and do some kickbox even on that.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a crazy, surreal, wild ride with me and Astrolada, and how this all worked out. And, you know, 9 years now I'm here. Now I'm presenting to you guys. It's been it's such a pleasure. It's such an enjoyment for me to do this.
I'm
It's
so
you know
happy.
what I want to do. Yeah,
Oh,
great
nine
stuff.
year cycle. It's a complete cycle coming back.
Yeah, a lot of things happening. Just
Wow. Thank you, Ian. And actually, Ian is an amazing astrologer. Again, when we did his test readings, uh, we'll give him just charts. He wouldn't know the people at all. And he was giving us specific careers for the people, specific life circumstances of marriage, of children. And he was so practical. That's why I loved his horoscopes, because as you see, he demonstrated he doesn't go into psychological, too much. He goes into practical. This is what it is. This is the type of partner. that is indicated. This is the type of career, and I was blown away. And thank you, Ian, for joining our astrology family. Thank you for your interesting presentations, and looking forward to see you again. Maybe we'll make another video before the webinar, and other interesting topics that Ian can share with us. And do join us for the webinar on May 23rd.
Me, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.